How is it that Coconut Mall is one of the most beloved Mario Kart courses of all time? It honestly confuses me, but at the same time it doesn't. It's a mall. I'm not trying to say this to discount it, I'm actually saying it to praise it. The fact that they were able to make a mall one of the coolest courses in the entire franchise and have everyone love it is quite impressive, frankly. I feel like with most game analyses of just level design, and in this case course design, a lot of people will tend to focus on how to most efficiently go through the level and how well the player is taught through the level's mechanics. However, I want to discard that just a little bit, we're not going to get rid of it entirely, and instead look at this through more of an aesthetic level. We're going to analyze Coconut Mall in terms of how it was able to capture our hearts, less about how it was able to capture our fingers, if you would allow that kind of analogy. I love Coconut Mall. Frankly, I would love it if it returned in every single Mario Kart course, and I wasn't able to properly explain why that was the case until now, where I'm going to give my very best explanation, unscripted, one take, and no cuts. Let us begin. First off, you see how wide open the mall is straight from the beginning. This allows every single player an equal entryway instead of any kind of annoying and narrow ways that were given in other courses. And if you have any Miis registered, in which case I don't here, none of these are my Miis, you will actually see your Miis in wacky little costumes or advertisements throughout the mall. Right here we have this Mii, I believe it's a glasses promotion? Some kind of glasses. And then over here we have a sweater promotion. And it's really funny when you see your Miis, and it's not just your main Mii by the way, but you see the Miis that you overall had created in these wacky little scenarios. Now I'm going to reveal something that some of you may have not known, but if you're more accustomed to Mario Kart Wii, you probably do know this. There are two escalators, one going up and one going down. This yellow Pianta here is pointing towards the one going up. So, while you're approaching the escalators, and when I say escalators, I do mean plural, you can see which one is going up and which one's going down based on where the Pianta is pointing. For the longest time, I couldn't tell which one was which, because we're playing in updated graphics right now, and when you're playing the regular graphics on the Wii, it's a little difficult to tell what's going up and what's going down, kind of like a white and black... a white and gold, blue and black dress scenario. I see it as white and gold, by the way. You're wrong if you see it as blue and black. But anyways, yeah, you can see which way it's going up just by looking at the Pianta. He's very nice. He even has his voice lines from Super Mario Sunshine. Really cool callback. You don't even need to take the escalators anyways, actually. You can just go up the sides just like this, which adds in some player agency. You could just say, screw the escalator, dude. And this isn't just a fun little thing you can do. You can actually do this if you went the wrong way. So let's say you're committed to going the wrong direction, and you're going to the left, and you're like, oh crap, you can make a slight detour and go up this way, which would be much faster than if you had actually gone up the escalator while it was pushing you down. You can see I'm even struggling right here, although I don't have any speed, so this isn't a fair comparison. Now with some more speed buildup, you can see we can barely make our way up there. And in fact, I'll use a mushroom to just show how painful this is. Look, we could barely just kind of get up there, but if we were going the other way, it would have been an easy launch. You'll notice the other restaurants here too. We've got Coco Mode, Lady Coco, and at this point, you can probably understand why it's called Coconut Mall. We can see some of the Miis cheering us on. We got these cute little outfits in the background. It's so charming to be a part of it. There are so many Mario Kart courses that could have Miis in the background doing all different kinds of things, but they don't take advantage of it. Coconut Mall is one of the very few Mario Kart courses in the franchise that actually takes advantage of your Miis, or takes advantage of your Miis, and puts them in these wacky little scenarios. Let's go over one of the coolest shortcuts in the game, not because of how helpful it is frankly, but because of how well hidden it is. This right here isn't what I'm talking about exactly. This is just a shortcut through the mall. It's cute, it's fine. Most people will take this shortcut and go right off the ramp. However, you can take a detour to the right and keep off-roading here, go by some more restaurant. By the way, when I say restaurants, I didn't mean that every single one of those was a restaurant. Some of these are shopping places as well. You don't have to correct me on that. You'll go by more of these shopping places, and you'll still keep off-roading until you get off this place here. Now that requires, I'd say 2 mushrooms or a single mushroom if you have an off-roading vehicle, which I do not. I go very slow. We also have these metal pipes here, which frankly don't feel like they belong in a mall very well. However, I feel like that's kind of the point. If you take a look at the aesthetic here, you'll notice that... Actually, let's move Lakitu, however you pronounce it, out of the way. You can tell that this was added in just for the racers. If you kind of look through the holes, you'll notice that there's some flooring underneath them. So it kind of makes sense that they added this in for the racers to be able to better turn, right? Because otherwise, you would just use the ground down there. It's actually cool because it makes it sound like the Piantas that were working on this Coconut Mall, or working on this mall in general, had created this just for racers to turn and drift. And they made it out of metal, which, you know, makes sense. That's why it clashes so much. So if you were ever so confused about, oh, why is there this random metal pipe in Coconut Mall? I think that's the reason. I think that's the in-lore reason the devs gave it. They're like, oh wait, how in the world are we gonna have this make sense while going to the right and going to the left? Okay, we have to make it so maybe they built a half pipe for them. I also love the way that the sunlight streams in here. It's really pretty when you're drifting over here. Now this, I accidentally passed the sign. I believe that said the Coconut Garden, or the Cocoa Garden. You can see some parasols here, some places that you might hang out, and I don't know if I'm the only one that thought this, but I always imagined myself like sitting in these places watching the racers kind of go by, you know? I didn't stop mid-race and do this, by the way. I didn't just go here and watch as Waluigi with a bullet bill because he's in last place whiz by and get back to first because the bullet bill was broken in this game. I just kind of admired it every time I went down it. Every time I entered this area, I never really went through the middle. I always went through the shady part here because it just kind of reminds me of the malls that are around my area. I don't know. You can also see the beginning of the level. I'll try to get a good viewpoint for you. You can see the beginning of the level over there, around when you first enter the mall. I would like you to bring your attention to the map on the bottom right, actually. You can see exactly where I'm looking at through the spotlight, which kind of connects the level all together. And if you've seen any of my game analysis videos, or just any of my videos in general, you know how well I freaking love a connected level. I eat that crap up for breakfast. It's amazing. You see more of the Piantas that are kind of cheering you on. And as if the Miis weren't enough, by the way. You have all these different Piantas just kind of like, oh, keep going, and they're just loving it. You almost feel like a superstar, like a celebrity, just kind of going through here, you know? It's really cool. Now, this place is different from the other places in the course, because if you listen very closely, I'll shut up in a moment, but if you listen very closely, you'll hear the bustling of the Miis. And all that is supposed to resemble being in a bustling area, getting food, going shopping in different places like this, because this is the shopping area. Look, you can even see Coco Burger. I think there's a menu here as well. Ah, yes, there is. Right here. You have the Mushroom Burger, the Flower Burger, the Star Burger, the Banana Burger, and the Green Mushroom Burger. A little strange how they call it the Green Mushroom Burger instead of the One-Up Burger, huh? You can even see the PNGs in the background, although this would be harder to see, again, if our graphics weren't updated very well. I believe you can see some of the stuff in here too, which they're trying to convince you are actual burgers. That's a little weird, isn't it? Imagine ordering a mushroom burger and you just get a regular old mushroom. Would it be made of meat or something? Or the Star Burger? It doesn't look like it's made of meat there. What do they eat in the Mushroom Kingdom anyways when they call it a burger? I don't see any meat anywhere. That's kind of strange when I think about it. I'm gonna try to not think about it too much though. I feel like that's going to mess with my mind a little bit. There are two separate areas you're able to take. In Mario Kart Analyses videos, or the wiki, they say that this part here is a shortcut, which frankly, I just always considered it an alternate route. I didn't know this was a shortcut, or I guess shortcut is subjective, but I digress. We will go the main route, which is again a bunch of metal going upwards, and you can kind of see, I'm wanting to look through the metal holes there. I know it can be a little bit difficult, but you can see some of the advertisements, including Miis again. Actually, hold on, I'm going to hold my tongue for a moment here. You can actually see into the second route that players chose. So if you're going really fast here, you might potentially see someone else taking that route. It's pretty cool though. If we wind up here a bit, you see it says, "Have a nice day." I think the overall aesthetic of Coconut Mall, if I were to describe what feelings it gives me in a simple sentence, is warm and comfy. Look, you even have a thank you there. You do a cool little trick. It's just so warm and comfy. It feels like everyone's cheering you on, your Miis are a part of the action, everything just feels good, you know? Speaking of which, if it wasn't already good enough that you had Miis in the background and you had Miis in the advertisements and different advertisements at that, they weren't just generic advertisements, there were ones in sweaters and ones with like eyeglasses on and stuff like that. You have your Miis driving the cars. Imagine playing online, and yes, if you played online by the way, the Miis were specific to your console, which, you know, I wish it was shared so you could see someone else's Mii run you over or whatever. That'd be pretty funny, right? But you only see your own Miis, which I think is just as impressive. And watching them just kind of hit you and you're like, why did I just hit myself? Or you see maybe a Mii of your brother or, you know, sister, mother, father, or anything like that, or any fictional character if you were like me. And you see like Ganondorf run you over and you're like, oh crap, my Ganondorf Mii just ran me over. Or maybe you see like your Bowser Mii or his stupid friggin' like Mario Mii or anime Mii or whatever it was in these different kinds of advertisements. It just creates a personal flair that no other course is able to match. It's really, really charming. It's so hard to describe it other than that. It's not very charming when you use your mushrooms, or lose your mushrooms just like that though. I wish that more Mario Kart courses would be able to accomplish the same thing that Coconut Mall does in terms of immersing the player in how fun it is. And when I say fun, I mean more of a personal fun. You can throw the Miis into almost any Mario Kart course and I feel like it would make sense as long as there's a city area. One of the most popular Mario Kart courses aside from Mario Kart Wii that I can remember is Maple Treeway. I hope I didn't mess that up. I apologize if I did. But we have Maple Treeway, which is kind of a naturey area, which I understand why you can't include the Miis there. And it's okay, but just imagine the kinds of personal touches from all the different kinds of courses in the Mario franchise if your Miis were included in the wacky ways they were in Coconut Mall. I guess if I had to kind of wrap this whole thing up, Coconut Mall is able to accomplish what no Mario Kart course has done before by involving the Miis in different kinds of ways so you feel like you're really a part of the course. And if you just take the Miis out of the equation entirely and don't have them at all, the Piantas are able to make you feel very included as well. They're cheering you on, some of them are in the stores, some of them are in the restaurants, there's toilets, it's amazing, right? And if I were to just talk about it in a game design sense, it's a very, very fun course to play on its own. There's no places that feel super duper tight, the tricks are really fun to pull off because you're super high in the sky when you do it, taking the right path on the escalator feels very fun. The turns are a little bit challenging at times, but when you pull off the shortcuts, they're really, really fun. And the flowers and scenery and the color scheme is just on point. Not to mention, and this might be the best part about it, this whole place takes place on Isle Delfino. Which, when you think about it, makes sense. There's Piantas everywhere, and this looks like Isle Delfino, so you can kind of, in your own little canon, imagine where this would be on Isle Delfino, and it just creates this really nice, warm, and snug feeling of, hey, I'm playing in a freaking Mario location. And it does what Delfino Plaza does too, where it sets up all these different things to make it feel like you're actually at a place. There's a lot of Mario Kart courses where you play them and you can't really pinpoint where they might be in the Mario universe, you know? Like, oh, maybe it'd be way over here. But because this place has so many Piantas and such a personality that solidifies itself, you're able to kind of get the feeling, oh, it's on Isle Delfino, and it feels like it would be near Pina Park, right? Or maybe near Delfino Plaza, right? Because it's a mall. It's just really cool like that. I don't have much else to say on Coconut Mall. I think it's a really, really fun course to play on, really fun to play with friends, and it's memorable for a reason. And not just because it's a mall. Done well. It's just fun, man. Sometimes you just gotta accept it, you know? When it's just fun like that, it's able to really make you happy. That's just gaming, you know? Hope you enjoyed this. I like doing these kinds of one-offs, one-takes. It is a little bit nerve-wracking, I'll be honest with you, because I can't do any retakes. If there's something I say that I don't really believe in, I have to kind of backtrack, and I feel like that could be a little annoying for some people. I decided to take some advice that people said earlier about my TikTok clock video, how I didn't get into TikTok clock actually fast enough. That was one of the comments. I thought that was some good feedback because it took me a while. So I decided to start this one off pretty dang quickly. These are one takes. These I can't say this was my first take doing this. I was doing the first few minutes and I was like, I don't know, I wasn't really capturing my feeling on that. I feel like I was too logical. But this one, I really care for Coconut Mall. And I just wanted to put some more emotion into it. So, I will see you tomorrow for more of the June Zoom, and I hope you take care. See ya.